What's up guys, Andre here, and today I wanted to show you how to implement real-time notifications using Laravel, VueJS, and Pusher. Now if you've ever ordered pizza online from Domino's, you'll see that they have a really cool order status tracker that updates in real time. They have statuses from when you place your order all the way to when it's out for delivery. I thought that was really cool and figured why not try to build something like that. So here we have our application, which is appropriately named Pizzaville. I have my boilerplate code here, and let me just go through what we have done already. So we can log in, and it takes us to the page where you can see all our orders. We can also order pizza from the order page. This page is very minimal. I didn't really have all the options for ordering a pizza. Like there's nothing like price here, but I just wanted to get the point across. So let's go ahead and street and get some toppings in there, instructions here, and we can order a pizza. And this redirects us to the view page, and this is where the real-time notifications are going to happen. So we'll have a progress bar here, and we'll have a bunch of real-time notifications happening as the order gets updated. Now we also have an admin section. I was too lazy to do proper authentication, so make sure you do that if you're using this app. The admin can oversee all the orders, and they can go ahead and change the order status of each order. So the idea here is as the admin changes it, we want the user to see those notifications in real time without the need for refreshing the page. Now this is all basic CRUD in Laravel. I will make the code available if you want to go ahead and take a look, but this is going to be our starting point. So I want to start off by implementing the most basic functionality where our Laravel app fires off an event to Pusher, and at the same time our app can listen in on our JavaScript for that event that was pushed. So basically I want to have one window that fires a route and another window that listens in on JavaScript and receives that. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go into my code editor, and again I'll make all this code available for you. So the first step is to go into our environment file and change the broadcast driver to Pusher. Our next step is to go into our config app and where is it? Uncomment this line over here, the broadcast service provider. Now the next step is to make sure that for every view we have a CSRF token. I already have it here, but make sure that every view has this, and it's in my layout file, so every view is extending this layout file. The next step is to, let's clear that out, install Pusher client. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, that's done. The next step is to go into Pusher. So let me just log in here and make a new app. Let's make a new one. Let's call it Pizza. And US2 is good. Let's create it. And let's grab our credentials here. And let's paste it into our environment file. There's already a section for it here. Let's just do that. We don't need these quotes. Okay. Also in our config broadcasting, I don't think you have to do this, but let's do it anyways. Let's add two more options here. The cluster, which is US2, and encrypted to true. Okay. Our next step is to make an event. So let's go ahead and go into our event service provider. And let's make an event, which we're going to use it later when we build up our pizza app. The event that we want a notification to happen on is, let's call it order status changed. And let's do the same for the listener. Order status changed listener. And then let's do PHP artisan event generate. There we go, those two were made right there. Now let's go into that order status changed. And in order to get this to broadcast to Pusher, all we have to do is implement should broadcast. And we also have to specify a channel here. By default, it's a private channel, but we're just gonna make it a public channel for our demo. And let's call it pizza tracker. Now let's go into our routes file. Let's go ahead and just copy this. And we'll make one called fire. And all that's going to do is, let's just return fired here. Fired. But we want that to fire off that event. So, and let's new it up. Order status changed. And let's import that. There you go. Now, when we visit this route in our browser, this should fire off a message to Pusher, and we should be able to see that from within Pusher. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go here, fire. Okay, so it's fired. Go into our debug console here. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, and there we go. We see that it was fired and Pusher successfully received it. So now we have to set up our client side to be able to listen for this. So the first thing we should do is npm install. The next thing we should do is install Laravel Echo. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, it's done. Now let's run our watcher. Okay, let's open up another tab. Laravel Realtime. Yep. Okay. Now we want to go into our bootstrap.js file. So bootstrap.js. Let's uncomment all this stuff here to get Echo to work. Okay, that worked. Let's add two more things here. Let's add the cluster, which is US2, and let's add encrypted. Set that to true. Okay. Now in our layout file, let's go in. Oh, I've already done it. I've already just wrapped everything in the app namespace so Vue can work with it. And now let's go into our app.js. Let me just paste this code in here. And this is what listens for messages to come in from Pusher. So we specify the channel name, which we specified in the event that we fire off. And we're listening for this specific event that we defined in Laravel, which is order status changed. And we are going to log this message once we successfully hear a message from Pusher. Save that. Okay, that worked. So now, if we did this correctly, let's do this. Let's move this to the left. Let's open a new window. Let me log in first. Oops, I didn't mean to fire it. Let's log in. Okay, let's inspect. So now I expect a message to show up here. I forgot to put my pusher credentials in. So back into app.js, no, bootstrap.js. Yes, I forgot to put this in. So let's go ahead and grab that. env. I think it's the, what is it? It's the pusher key. Okay, let's put that in there. Okay. Now this error should be gone. Okay. So now when I fire the event, we should see a message appear here. And there we go. We get, oh my god, real time, bro. So the most basic example of getting Laravel, Vue, and Pusher working. So the next step is to go ahead and extend this and work on our pizza app. Awesome. So the first thing I want to do is just get a progress bar to appear here. For that, we're going to use a Vue library called VueStrap, which is just an extension of Bootstrap, but instead of using jQuery, it's using Vue. Make sure you don't use this one because this one was originally built for Vue 1.0 and it was never maintained for Vue 2.0. Make sure you use this one, WFF Franco. Okay, so let's go ahead and install this. Okay, it's done. Back into our code, and I can use it from the root instance here, but I'm going to go ahead and make my own component because I'm going to be extending it, and it's just easier for me to work with when I have my own component. So let's go into where my resources, components. Let's go ahead and just duplicate this one and name it order progress .view. Okay. For now, let's just say order progress component. Just see if this works. And I'm going into my show. No, I have to go into my app. And I have to specify my view component. Save that. Okay. Now in our show, let's just go ahead and replace this one with the component we just made. Progress. Okay. See if that shows up. Okay, so our component shows up. Now let's go ahead and make it work. Oh, let's do this. Okay, let's import the one we're using. It's not called alert, it's called progress bar. And we also have to specify our components that we're using. So let's do that. Make sure we have our comma and progress bar. Okay. Now let's go see how this works. Let's just grab this and not there, in here I mean. Replace this. Just re-indent. Let's just put a random percentage in here and say 50. I want to make it, I think it's success. Success makes it green. CC. Okay, see if that works. Yep, there we go. I don't want this label here. I think that's an option here. Yep. Don't want that. I think there's also an option to make it animated. Okay. There we go. Cool. Okay. So we also want this order status to be part of the component because we're going to be changing that dynamically as well. So let's remove that from Blade and put it into our view component. So here, it's just this part. Let's grab that, put it into our view component right here. But for our view templates, you have to remember you have to have a root instance always. Sorry, like a root tag. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's do that. That did not work. Why not? Oh, let's just put that for now. We'll make it dynamic later on. Okay. See if that works. Okay. So our next step is to make this thing dynamic. And in order to do that, we're going to have to pass some data in from Laravel into our view component. So before I do that, I want to show you the status model. As you can see, each status has a name, and there's also a percentage that indicates how far along this order is, how far along the status is, and that represents the percentage of the progress bar that we have. So with that being said, what do we need to pass into here? We need to pass in, obviously, the status. We need to pass in the percentage. And we also have to pass in the order ID, which I will explain that one later on. So let's go ahead and do that. In our show, let's pass in those things. So the first thing I said was status. Let's go ahead and pass in order status name. Okay. Oops. The next thing I want to pass in is, let's call it initial. Initial is just the percentage. Let's see, order status. I forgot my brackets. Order status percent. And the third thing I want to pass in is the order ID. Just order ID. Okay, now let's go into our view component and let's accept those as props. So props, what did we name them? Status, I believe. Yep, status, initial, and order ID. Okay, make sure we have a comma. Okay, that's good. Let's specify the data. Don't forget a comment. I always forget that. Not the comment. Comma. I always forget the comma. So return. Okay, so we want status and initial to be mutable because that's going to be changing based on the admin changing it. So we have to specify this data. Let's make a new one called status new. And let's accept a prop here. And let's make another one called progress. And we'll accept the prop as well. Okay, that's good. Now in here, we can specify status new. And in this percentage indicator, we can specify the progress, right? Yes, progress. Now the reason we're accepting the order ID is because for our event, we're going to want to pass the order ID here as well for the channel that we're listening in on. Also, we're going to be wanting to accept the order when the event is fired. So let's go ahead and do that. Construct. Let me just make an order here. Okay, that's good. Make sure this property is public though, because it has to be public in order to be serialized and passed to our JavaScript. And you don't have to do this, but I like typing it. Let's import that. That work? Yep, okay. Okay. And now for our channel, I like doing dot channel name. So this order ID. And now in our view component, we're going to be listening in on the new channel now. So let's go ahead and do what we did earlier, grab what we had earlier, where we had the code that listened in on that channel. Let's paste that in. And this is now accepting the order ID, so we have to append that. This dot order underscore ID. Let's just change this to order because that's what's coming in. Let's just see if that works. Save. Okay. Oh, one thing we have to do is we have to fire the event from whenever the admin changes the status. So whenever this happens and they press update status, we have to fire the event from there. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's close some stuff out here. Don't need that, don't need that. Need that. Okay. So where's that? I think it's in our admin orders control. Yep. I think it's the update. Yeah. So right here, we can fire a new event. New order status changed. Import that. Okay. But this is also taking in the order now. We just added that. Okay, so I hope you're following along here. So now when the admin updates it, it should fire an event and our JavaScript should be listening in on that. Let's do this again. Okay, inspect console. So this is the admin, and we're currently on. Oh, this is still the admin. Let's go to order 1. Okay, order 1. Let's see if we see the message in here once we update this. There you go. We get that message, real-time pizza tracker. So our next step is just to update our data, and because Vue has two-way data binding, these things should update in real time. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so what am I doing? I am going to my Vue component, and right here we only have to do two things. So let's update the status. So that would be this.status new equals the thing that's coming in, which is being passed in as order. Actually, that's not going to work. Let's console log the order. And let's do this again. I just want to show you one thing, and I'll show you how to solve it after. Okay, so we get the order. Text is kind of small, but the only thing that's passed in here is the order model. And since the status is its own model, it's not being passed in here. We have the status ID, but we don't want that. We want the actual status name, and we want the actual status percent, which lives on the status model. So how do we pass in that additional information? Because here, like I said earlier, only the order is being passed in. So in order to pass in additional information, we're going to have to make a broadcast with method which adds any additional information you want to pass through. So I'm just going to paste it in to save time. It's really straightforward. It is just broadcast with, and I'm just making a new array of the additional information we want to pass through, and then I'm just merging it with the actual order, and that's what's going to be passed through. So let's try that again. Refresh this again. So order 1, let's change it. Now if we do this correctly, there's our order, and now this should have the two new things we passed in. So there we go. We have our status name and we have our status percent. So now we can respond accordingly here. Okay, so all we have to do is this dot status new equals order dot status name. And this dot progress equals order dot status percent. Save that. That worked. And let's refresh. And let's refresh this. Now, if we did this correctly, these two things should update in real time once I update it on this side. We don't need this. So it's on bake right now. If I move it to quality check and hit update status, hopefully this will update. And there you go. You see the progress bar move forward, and you see the order status move forward. And this happens in real time. Obviously, you're not going to go backwards, but just to show you that it works. Awesome. That is some real-time stuff happening. And that means it's up for delivery. Let's add one fun little thing in here. How about we add an image once the status is on the last status out for delivery. So image, I actually have it in here already. It is an animated GIF like everybody loves. Delivery, and let's just add a directive that only shows it if progress, we have that progress data in there. If it's greater than 100, then we know that it's finished. So let's see if that works. Move it back one. Actually, I have to refresh it. Let's refresh it. Okay. We don't have to refresh this side, but let's refresh it anyways. And if I did that correctly, there should be a nice image that shows up here. And there you go. We have a live feed of the delivery boy delivering your pizza. So I wanted to go ahead and add more types of notifications in our application. This one is an alert notification, so whenever the admin changes the status, we see an alert message like that. So let's go ahead and do that. So first thing I want to do is just duplicate this one. Let's name it order alert.view. Okay. Let's just do order alert component for now. And this one will be alert. This one will be alert. We'll change the props later. For now, we'll still take the order ID. We'll take this out. We can leave this, and we don't need this. See if that works. Oh, we have to go to our app.js and order alert.view. Okay. Now from our show, we want to do same thing here. Just name it alert, and we don't need status and initial, but we still need the order ID. Okay. Let's see if that works. Okay, there we go. So let's see how this works. Where's the alert? Okay, let's copy that. And let's go into our component. And up here, let's do that. Okay, so this V model is a thing that's controlling the visibility. And let's just name it show alert, and let's set it to true. See if that works. Okay, so there it is. Set it to 4 seconds. That's good. Let's change the message here. Change it to order status updated. And order ID has been updated. Okay. And let's set it to false initially, but once we receive the message from Pusher, we'll set it to true. And that should do it. Go ahead and do this again. Let's try to refresh it. Okay, same order, 1. Okay, let's change it. And there you go. Let's see if it disappears. And it does. Okay, so we have that working. Okay. But we have a problem here. The problem is our channel we're listening in on requires the order ID to be specified. Now, what if we want this notification to happen on this page? We can't do that because we need a channel that has order ID. So how are we going to fix that? We can fix that by, in the event that fires over here, we can listen in not only on this channel, but another channel as well. So to listen in on multiple channels, we have to return an array like this. Return an array, and we can still listen in on that initial channel because we need that for the other order progress notification. But we can also, let's just make a general channel where we can listen in anywhere. Call it pizza tracker with no order ID appended. And now in our component, we're not listening in on this channel. we're just listening in on pizza tracker. Save. Oh, and one more thing we have to do, we have to add, actually, just go back to show. We no longer need this order ID. Save that. We don't need that as a prop. Okay. And see if it still works. Go back here. Just make sure it's still working. Okay, still works. The ID is not there obviously anymore, so let's go ahead and we can just have the order ID in the data properties. So order ID initially is empty, but then we can specify it because it's coming in. So this dot order ID equals order dot ID. That should work. Okay. Try that again. Make sure the order ID is displaying. There we go. Order ID 1 has been updated. And now if we want this to appear on the other pages, like this page, then all we have to do is place that component in that page. But it is called index. Yes, index. And you can just put it anywhere. Let's put it right here. Order progress, I think. Order progress. And let's see if it happens on that page as well. Let me just refresh it. Okay. And let's update it. And that did not work. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, it received the original one. How come it didn't work for ours? Oh, sorry. Order alert. My bad. Yep, order alert. And this should work. There you go. And the appropriate ID has been passed through and it shows up there. So if we go into 2, it should also notify you here. There you go. But we have a problem. The problem is even if the admin changes the order that doesn't belong to you, like as you can see, order ID 3 belongs to another user, but we're still going to get the notification here. Just to show you, we don't want that because that's not our order. We don't care about that order. So let's go ahead and fix that. So to fix that, we have to actually pass in the user ID that's logged in. And we can compare that with the order's user ID and make sure they're the same to make sure that we can only see notifications that belong to us. So let's pass in you can pass it in from the controller, but I'm just gonna be lazy and do it in from here. So auth user ID. And I think we had it in show as well. Now if you want this notification to happen on every page, just put it in a layout file. Okay, so we're passing that in. Now in our component, we accept it as a prop. Okay. And now we just have to do one check here. And that check is if, so now we have the user ID we just passed in from Laravel. And all we have to do is just check if it's the same user ID that's coming in from the order. And that way, we only receive notifications if it is ours. Okay, let's do this again. So, this notification should not show because this order does not belong to us. So let's update it. It doesn't show, okay. But if we update one that does belong to us, it should show. And there you go. So I want to do one more type of notification, and it's this bell notification with the badge over here. So if a user is on the page, I want notifications to appear here with the most recent first. And it has a nice little time component over here. Now, this is not going to persist notifications. If you want to persist notifications, look into Laravel's database notifications. It's only going to happen if the user is on the page. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go into our code. Let's duplicate this. Let's call it order notifications. .view. Okay. Leave that for now. We don't need any Bootstrap stuff. We don't need any components. Let's leave this empty for now. Empty for now. We can leave this. We can leave this empty for now. Okay. Now this is actually a partial in my blade view. What's it called? Views, partials, there, notification dropdown. Okay, so let's just grab all of this and paste it in our order notifications here. Right. Let's just indent that. Let's add this new component here, order notifications, notifications. Okay. And let's just comment this partial out and replace it with the component. So order notifications. Okay. See if that works still. Okay, still works, but now it's using a view component. So the first thing I want to do is take care of this timestamp here. There's actually a nice library called view time ago, and we'll make use of this. There we go. All right, npm install. Okay, that's done. Let's go ahead and copy this. Order notifications. Let's go ahead and paste that in. We don't need this. We don't need this. Okay, I think that's it. Yep. So let's go ahead and just see how this works. Let's just paste this in our component in one of the list items here. Let's put it, where is it? This one right here. Let's just see if it works. So for here, we're just going to put in a new date, and auto update just specifies when it updates. So let's just see. It's 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds it's going to update. See if that works. Let's go back. Refresh. Okay, so that worked. So this should update every 5 seconds. There we go. So that works. Okay. Obviously we don't want it to update that quickly. Let's do 60 is good. Now the next thing we want to do is, so for this list, let's store all these notifications in an array. Let's call it notifications, and let's set it to an empty array for now. And so what do we want to happen? As an order comes in, we want to just push it to this notifications array. Now we want to push it to the front of the array, so we're going to use, instead of .push, we're going to use .unshift. And I'm just going to paste a code snippet in here, so you don't have to watch me type it. And all I'm doing, like I said, is I'm pushing to the front of an array, and I'm pushing in an object which has all the stuff I need. So the description is just going to be the order ID updated. The URL is just the show endpoint, and the time is just the date that it came in. So let's save that. And if we do this again, open up our DevTools, go into View DevTools, look at our notifications. Okay, it's empty, obviously. Don't worry about the badge, we'll worry about the badge after. So let's update it and see if this notifications array actually grows. And it does not. Why not? Oh, that's because we also, just like in our alert component, we have to pass in the user ID. So let's go ahead and, where was that? Here, let's pass in the user ID as well. User ID equals auth user ID. Okay, do that. Sorry, I put this in the wrong place. That should be in props. I'm sure you saw that. Now this should work. Alright, third time is a charm. Let's see if this works. And let's go to view. Okay, this should grow. I see the prop there now. I'm almost certain this will work. There you go. You see that our notifications array is growing. Okay, now let's focus on getting our notifications to render in our list items. So we have, how many do we have here? We have 3. We have 4 actually, including that one. So let's get rid of, let's keep this one. Let's get rid of these 2. And this one is for the see all alerts, so we'll keep that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and make a loop. V4. So notification in notifications. So the first thing, this is where it's going to link to, and we have this as notification.url. This is the message we want to display. It's going to be the notification.description that we set down here, right here. And the time ago date is just going to be notification dot time. Okay, and yeah, that should do it. Refresh this. Refresh this. So this should be empty right now. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and see if that updates. And there we go, it does. You close this alert. You'll see that updated. And let's see if it pushes to the front of the array. So let's go to our other order, which is number 2. Just update this one, and there you go. You see that it pushes to the front of the array, and it's correctly listing our notifications. Let's go ahead and fix this badge. It's pretty straightforward. So for here, we want to display notifications.length. See if that works. Okay, so let's change to 1. Yep, that's awesome. And how about if there's no notifications, we don't display it at all? So right here, we'll just check if notifications.length is greater than 0. So initially, shouldn't show it, but if we update it, the badge should appear, and it does. Awesome. And if you click it, it goes through to the actual page. I actually have an error from earlier. I forgot to put the attribute name here, so it should be user ID equals that. And this should work now. There you go. One more small detail I want to fix is when you click on this and there's no alerts, it should say no notifications. So let's go ahead and fix that. So in here, we can just, where's that? Right here. Yes. So we can just do v if notifications.length greater than 0. And then we just have a div, no notifications, if v else. Okay, see if that works. So no notifications if they update one. There we go. And we have that there. So one more thing I want to mention is the use of public versus private channels. Now all throughout this demo I've been using public channels, but it could be a possibility that your app requires private channels such that messages don't fly around and people can't read them. So if you want to make use of private channels, let's go back to our code. Let's go back to our order status changed event. If you're just using this syntax up here, you would just use private channel here. But since we're using this array syntax and we have multiple channels, we would just prepend the word private dash onto the channel we want to be private. So this first channel is the one we used for our order progress component. So private dash. And the next thing we want to do is in our order progress component here, instead of echo.channel, it'll be echo.private. And then one more thing we want to do is in our route channels file, we have to authenticate and authorize the request here. So what are we going to do? So the channel name goes here. In our case, it's pizza tracker dot, and then the wildcard is ID. And it's going to take in the logged in user and the ID. This is going to be the order ID. All we have to do is check if the user ID equals the order. So order find ID user ID. Let's import the order. and that should still work. But now we'll be utilizing private channels. Okay, so this is 1. Let's go back to 1 over here and see if the notifications still work. Quality check. And they do. Awesome. So now we're utilizing private channels. So there you have it, guys. We've used Laravel, Laravel Echo, VueJS, and Pusher to implement real-time notifications. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you can start using real-time notifications in your applications. I think they are a great addition and really enhance the overall user experience of an application. Please like, please comment, and please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Okay, thanks. Bye.